Welcome back to The Bloated Chef. I am Chef Jerome, an actual bloated chef. And before we get to today's informative and entertaining tutorial, please be sure to slap down on that like button, click the subscribe button, smash that notification bell, and share with the entire planet. Please keep your hands inside the ride at all times, and we thank you.
Oh, and we're back on the big board, and let's talk ultimate leftovers recipe. I've got a big old dong of some smoked andouille sausage. I've got some beautiful rough chopped corn grits / polenta, diced onions, fresh sliced garlic. We've got fresh rosemary, fresh sage, banana peppers, and of course, my new favorite thing, pre-fried garlic. I've got a vat of beautiful concentrated shrimp stock. And what is that big wad of fresh pasta dough doing here? Nothing to do with this recipe, but it's going through the new auto pasta maker. Coming up, for your viewing pleasure, smoked sausage and shrimp grits. Alright, first things first, melt 1 stick of butter with 2 teaspoons of avocado oil. Once that shimmers, we're going to add that chopped, smoked andouille sausage and render all that yummy fat out. Get that thing nice and crisp. Once we infuse that oil, we will go ahead and grab a slotted spoon and remove. And be a little careful, be a little mindful. I've turned the heat down to low. As you can see, it's still shimmering and spitting. And let me tell you something. You don't treat this oil right. Oh, don't you spit at me. All right, moving on. Next step. Take those onions, add them into that heavily infused oil and butter. Saute them. Make sure they are translucent. Make sure they are cooked as we move to the next step. All right, Hiru. Next step, we'll take that pre-cooked fried garlic. Yummy, one of my new favorites. We'll take fresh sliced garlic, about a tablespoon of each. In go those chopped banana peppers. That's there strictly for an acidic pop and to help the brininess cut through the richness of this wonderful little dish that we're about to put together. And while we're at it, check out the fond on the edges. We'll take care of that. So as we begin to develop our baseline flavors, we'll take that teaspoon combined of fresh sage and rosemary. We will not use all of it. We'll save a little for the garnish on top. But we'll go ahead and toast that inside that wonderfully infused oil and butter. Now then, we've got to keep going. We've got to keep our flavors flowing, right? So there goes our fish sauce. That's about a half a teaspoon's worth. That's going to provide acid and a fishy, gooey smell. And then goes a little bit of Shaoxing wine. A white wine will work just fine. Multi-ethnic grits, right? All right, here we go. We've got 3 cups of concentrated shrimp stock. We're going to throw 1 cup in first and bring this up to a simmer. A simmer. Okay, so we are at simmer. We have achieved the simmer. We're going to take the 1.5 cups of stone ground grits. Nice rough chop, beautiful. Turn out nice and creamy. And that's going to get added eventually to 2 to 1. 3 cups of fresh shrimp stock. Keeping it moving, you can see the grits and the stock have come together nice and smooth, well put together. Now it's time to add that last bit, the very concentrated bit of that shrimp stock. You can smell this. I wish you could smell it. It smells amazing. Oh yeah. Let's add a few more components. I found about a quarter of a tomato. Yes, why not? Sweetness, acidity, that'll add to the levels of flavor. Of course. Also give it a little bit of color, don't you think? Well, I think. You may think, but I think. I definitely think. All right, another component. This is where our creaminess comes from. How about this? Quarter pound of cream cheese. That's correct. Room temperature. Let it melt up nice. We don't have to add any heavy cream or anything else now. We've got this wonderful, thick, bold cream cheese. Gonna give it some tang, too. Quite the flavor bomb we're building here. And as you can see, the cream cheese has brightened that up a little bit. Nice and creamy, maybe just a tad bit too creamy. I'm going to thin it down with a little warm chicken stock, a couple tablespoons worth, and it feels like consistency-wise we are there. Now let's add some more creaminess. A little bit of leftover mozzarella cheese, why not? Alright, these grits are at its creamy goodness. Now then, we're going to add one more component. I add some crumbled blue cheese. There goes about 2 tablespoons worth. That should work well with the rest of the components in these mix. Let me tell you, this is going to be something pretty special. And as we creep up on the finish line, let's add that brown gravy from that wonderful cavatelli pasta mix that I served at last Sunday's leftovers party. Remember? Well, if you didn't, it's one video before this. Make sure to subscribe and like, people. All right, now we'll execute our artsy-fartsy swirl to make this presentation really pop. And then go right on top with that wonderful, crispy, rendered, smoked andouille sausage. Yeah, I'm digging it. How about you? Second to last move here is to grate some fresh pecorino romano right on top as well. Just kind of let it melt, get ooey and gooey. I would kill for a green onion right now, or a scallion, or a chive, or anything green, but we've got a little bit of that fresh sage and rosemary mix left over. That will represent our green garnish. Hashtag green garnish. And finally, fresh cracked black pepper over the top and your hot sauce of choice. This just happens to be what was on the counter. Whatever you have in the fridge, you can go Asian style. It's all up to you. And one of my favorite ways to enjoy polenta/grits is with breakfast and eggs. So how about we crack a couple choo-tree over easy eggs. Remember, crack your eggs on a flat surface, not the edge of a pan. The likelihood of puncturing that yolk decreases. We can season appropriately. In this case, I like a half a shit ton of fresh cracked pepper. Give it the quick flip-a-voo. We're going to shut that heat off and let it finish up. Slide those perfect eggs right on top. And this is looking about as perfect as a big old breakfast bowl should look. Wouldn't you agree? Well, you should. Wait, what's he doing? Oh, we're getting fancy. Oh, hashtag OMG adorbs. Hashtag smiley face eggs. How about a cup of some beautiful fresh brewed coffee there, eh? Top of the morning to you. Oh, a fine cup of joe it is. Now let's get into this thing, shall we? So much depth in these grits. So much depth. So much depth in these grits. I mean, that shrimp stock, amazing. Really makes the dish. Great with scrambled eggs. Great for breakfast. Try this.
100% leftovers, folks. 100%.
I hope you like this one. Look for the next one.